Hello, back again on the Top Recap channel. This time I will tell a movie's entitled Shark, The Beginning. Let's get straight into the storyline. The story begins by showing a man named Jung Do-hyun, who is a UFC athlete who managed to win the championship 3 times in a row. When he got home, he was shocked by his family who had died because there had been a robbery at his house. The robbers also attacked Jung Do-hyun and intended to kill him. But Jung Do-hyun immediately fought the robbers and managed to defeat the robbers. Because his family had been killed, Jung Do-hyun beat the robber to death. As a result of that, Jung Do-hyun was arrested by the police for killing the robber who had entered his house. The scene switches to a school. We will see a student named Cha Woo-sol. Not long after, the school has a new student named Seok-chan. It is known that Seok-chan is a boxing athlete who has won many school-level tournaments in the last few years. It turns out that Cha Woo-sol recognizes Seok-chan. It is known that Seok-chan was a friend of Cha Woo-sol and often bullied him when he was in middle school. And this time, Cha Woo-sol had to be in the same class as him again, which made him feel scared when he saw Seok-chan. Long story short, Seok-chan managed to beat the class thugs and managed to become the number 1 thug in the class. Seok-chan approached Cha Woo-sol and bullied him again. But there is a girl student who tries to help Cha Woo-sol, and that resulted in Seok-chan slapping the girl student. Cha Woo-sol tries to stop him, but instead, he has to be beaten by Seok-chan. Because Woo-sol is annoyed, he threatens to stab Seok-chan using a pen. But Seok-chan challenged him because he thought that Woo-sol would not dare to stab him. Out of nervousness, Woo-sol accidentally stabs the pen into Seok-chan's eye, thus making Seok-chan hurt and fell. As a result of the incident, Woo-sol is on trial. Even though he already said that Seok-chan was the one who bullied him first, and Woo-sol was just defending himself. But still, the judge decided that Woo-sol was guilty of injuring Seok-chan. The judge determines Woo-sol as a suspect on charges of attempted murder and will be detained in a special juvenile prison for 3 years. Long story short, while on the way to prison, Woo-sol sits beside Jung Do-hyun, who is imprisoned for killing the robbers who broke into his house. Upon arrival at the prison, Woo-sol made a new friend named Hyun-min. They both tell each other the reason why they can go to jail. At night, they introduce themselves to the seniors who were in the same cell as them. The seniors explained that the cell leader was named Jung Sang-yub. But right now, he is being transferred to the isolation room because he was framed by another cell leader. The senior also said that power in the prison is everything. For weak people, it's better to stay away from people who can destroy your life. Then he introduces the strongest people who rule in this prison. The first is Lee Won-jun. He has a big and strong body. He was also the leader of a group of woodcarvers. The second was Han Sung-yong. Despite his small stature, he was also the strongest person and the leader of the bakery group. While Jung Do-hyun has just entered prison, he is already a feared person because of his history of killing robbers. Although the leaders united still could not defeat Jung Do-hyun. While they were playing football, suddenly one of the players was injured. Sung-yong asked for a substitute, but none of them wanted to play. Even the other prisoners back off, leaving Woo-sol in the front row. Like it or not, Woo-sol is forced to play ball, even though he can't play ball. As a result, Woo-sol instead kicks Lee Won-jun's crotch. As a result of the incident, Woo-sol has gotten into trouble on his first day in prison. He is being taken by Lee Won-jun's men to beat up. But when they meet Jung Do-hyun, they look to respect him. Seeing this, Woo-sol then runs away and asks Jung Do-hyun for help. Seeing Woo-sol's frightened condition, Jung Do-hyun doesn't have the heart and orders Won-jun to free Woo-sol. But the fight was over quickly because Jung Do-hyun managed to beat Won-jun with a single punch. The next day, Won-jun is seen still holding grudges against Woo-sol. Woo-sol realizes his mistake, but he can't do anything about it. Not long after that, Woo-sol is called because someone visited him. It turns out that the person who visited him was Seok-chan. Seok-chan threatens to take revenge for making his eyes blind. Seok-chan will give a hell once Woo-sol is released from prison. Hearing the threat made Woo-sol scared and kept apologizing to Seok-chan, but it was not heard by Seok-chan. At night, he imagines Seok-chan's threat to take revenge after Woo-sol is released from prison. Even he is also being targeted by Won-jun in prison. One day, Woo-sol accidentally sees Jung Do-hyun exercising on the field. Woo-sol goes straight to him to thank him for saving him. The next day, Woo-sol returns to see Jung Do-hyun while giving him a box of milk, even though Jung Do-hyun ignores this. Then Woo-sol asks Jung Do-hyun to train him so he can be as strong as himself. But the request was rejected by Jung Do-hyun. Jung Do-hyun doesn't want his ability to be abused by Woo-sol. And this is where Woo-sol tells everything. Until finally, Jung Do-hyun gives a chance, on the condition that Woo-sol must be able to run 100 laps. Woo-sol immediately runs to complete 100 laps. While running, Woo-sol remembered the times when he was bullied by Seok-chan. He even tried to kill himself so he could get away from Seok-chan's bullying. That's why he decided to be strong and will face those who bully him. Even when Jung Do-hyun had stopped, he still kept running to be coached by Jung Do-hyun. Until finally, Jung Do-hyun told Woo-sol to stop, and Woo-sol immediately passes out. Then the scene moves to Jung Do-hyun, who is drinking coffee with the chief warden. The two of them looked quite familiar. The head warden thanks Jung Do-hyun, because since Jung Do-hyun is in this prison, all the problems are reduced. Jung Do-hyun was also given the VIP room facilities currently occupied by himself. Then Jung Do-hyun asks the chief warden to move Woo-sol to his room. Long story short, Woo-sol is moved to Jung Do-hyun's room. Jung Do-hyun immediately ordered Woo-sol to do push-ups. But because Woo-sol rarely exercises, it makes it difficult for him to do push-ups. Until the evening, Jung Do-hyun continues to train Woo-sol physically. Even when Woo-sol wants to rest for a while, Jung Do-hyun forbids it and threatens to return Woo-sol to his old room. Of course, Woo-sol doesn't want to and continues his training. Day after day, Woo-sol continues to get physically trained by Jung Do-hyun. After his physique began to stabilize, he was immediately trained in martial arts by Jung Do-hyun. Elsewhere, Seok-chan is intercepted by two gangsters who want to beat him. But because of his skills, Seok-chan managed to beat the two gangsters. And it was seen by a mafia who was impressed with Seok-chan's boxing skills. The mafia invites Seok-chan to work for him. The mafia said that Seok-chan would be more powerful if he worked under him. Initially, Seok-chan refused the offer, but after knowing the power of the mafia, Seok-chan was willing to join the mafia. The scene switches again to Woo-sol, who is reading a book while exercising. Hyun-min is amazed by Woo-sol's current abilities. When he first entered the prison, Woo-sol's body was very thin, but now his body is very muscular. Hyun-min also said that Jung Do-hyun will be transferred to an adult prison soon. After hearing the news, Woo-sol becomes distracted while practicing with Jung Do-hyun. Jung Do-hyun says that he can't take care of Woo-sol forever. So Woo-sol has to keep practicing before he leaves. Then Woo-sol sees Hyun-min being brought by Won-jun's henchmen to beat up because he can't bring Woo-sol to Won-jun. Seeing that, Woo-sol then protects Hyun-min, who is being beaten up. This is where Woo-sol takes out the results of his training and beats two of Won-jun's men. Not long after, Woo-sol came alone to Won-jun's place, and there was a fight between Woo-sol and Won-jun. Despite having practiced with Jung Do-hyun, Woo-sol is still having a hard time beating Won-jun. Even Woo-sol keeps getting beat up by Won-jun. But because Woo-sol has a strong determination, he doesn't give up so easily. Until finally Woo-sol attacks using his head, causing Won-jun to fall. So angry, Woo-sol kept beating him until Jung Do-hyun came to stop the fight. While elsewhere, Seok-chan started working as a gangster and slaughtered all his enemies. Every fight makes Seok-chan stronger. The scene switches again to Jung Do-hyun, who trains Woo-sol even harder. He even scolds when Woo-sol doesn't focus on practice. And it turns out that that day was the last day that Jung Do-hyun was in a special prison for children, because he was going to be transferred to a prison for adults. Jung Do-hyun said that he was very amazed by Woo-sol's progress so fast. Jung Do-hyun also talked about a shark that doesn't have a swim bladder. It makes the shark must keep moving. If it stops, then the shark will sink. That's why he ordered Woo-sol to continue to train himself every day. After Jung Do-hyun left, Woo-sol now practicing alone, and he also returned to his old room. He was also challenged by a group leader named Sung Yong to determine who was the strongest, with a bet that if Sung Yong loses, he is willing to follow everything Woo-sol says. Woo-sol accepts the challenge, but Woo-sol's request if he wins only wants Sung Yong not to bully weak people anymore and stop the war between groups. Sung Yong agrees. The next day before the fight between Woo-sol and Sung Yong occurs, Woo-sol is visited by Seok-chan. Seok-chan is surprised to see the change in Woo-sol and can't wait for Woo-sol's freedom. This time, Woo-sol dared to look into the eyes and face Seok-chan. It seems that Woo-sol's mentality has matured after practicing with Jung Do-hyun. After that, Woo-sol came to the place of the fight, and the fight between Woo-sol and Sung-yong began. But this time, Woo-sol looks difficult because Sung-yong is the leader of the group and his movements are very agile. Several times Woo-sol had to fall from Sung-yong's deadly kick. But because of Woo-sol's strong determination, he keeps on rising. Woo-sol then issues a coiling move that makes Sung-yong not move and is forced to admit defeat. Then came the guards who immediately secured them both, and this fight was won by Woo-sol. Because of that incident, Woo-sol was locked up in an isolation room for a while. After leaving the room, Woo-sol asked Sung-yong and Won-jun to stop the war between groups and make peace. They agree to a request from Woo-sol, and this is the beginning of peace between the prisoners. Then they see the sunset together, and now they no longer oppress the weak. Woo-sol manages to serve 3 years in prison, until Woo-sol is finally free. When he left, it turned out that Seok-chan was waiting for him outside the prison. Seok-chan then challenges Woo-sol to solve the problem between them. They immediately started fighting. After practicing hard, finally Woo-sol can clash punches with Seok-chan. But it turns out that Seok-chan is even more powerful after becoming a gangster. He beats Woo-sol many times until he falls. But he remembered Jung Do-hyun's words, which made Woo-sol's determination flare up again. Woo-sol gets up again and takes out a secret move taught by Jung Do-hyun. He issued a drilling punch and knocked Seok-chan down. They both threw punches toward their opponent's face alternately. But because Woo-sol has been hit so many times, Woo-sol looks very immune to punches from Seok-chan. Until finally, Seok-chan was unable and turned his face. Woo-sol manages to beat Seok-chan. At the end of the film, Woo-sol is seen visiting Jung Do-hyun, who is still in prison. Woo-sol thanks Jung Do-hyun for teaching him, and now Woo-sol has managed to beat his bully. And the movie is over. Don't forget to click subscribe, like and comment.